Hey there, how you doing? Welcome to the Steve and Dan Show. I'm Steve, and over there is Dan, and we've got our special guest, Doug. Doug, right here. Glad to have you here today. Very quickly, I'm Steve. For those of you who haven't seen the show before, might not know that much about me. Husband, father, entrepreneur. I've started and grown several businesses over the years, and I began to realize that really I just owned my job. I was still trading time for money. I had some more flexibility. I had achieved a certain amount of success, but I really didn't have the fulfillment that I was looking for, or really the true freedom, even though I had my own business and I had a good deal of flexibility, but I didn't have the true freedom. So that's what really drove me to seek the digital life and to leverage technology to really get free, to be able to spend more time with my family, to do the traveling that I wanted to do. That's what got me here. And what has really kept me here is the education and the community, people like Dan and Doug and so many others that just makes this community a great place to be and a great place to learn. Dan, you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Thank you, Steve. I'd love to. So name's Dan Holloway. For anyone who hasn't seen the Steve and Dan show before, background in corporate software sales before I joined SFM. I essentially reached a point in my career when I realised that although I was earning really good money, wasn't really fulfilled. And my light bulb moment, my wake-up call, if you want to call it that, was suddenly realising that no income goal in the past had ever brought me fulfilment or happiness or anything more meaningful. So why did I think that an even bigger income goal in the future was going to do that for me? That was when I discovered SFM. Obviously, rest is history. That was 8 months ago. So like Steve says, community, massive, massive part of this process for anyone who's getting started with SFM as well. That's a little bit about me. Doug, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, bud. Would you like to give a little bit of an overview of yourself, who you are, just for anyone watching who doesn't know you?
Absolutely. Doug Howorko, I here in central Canada. SFM, or my experience and background, I've been an employee for a long period of my life. I have dabbled in entrepreneurship a little as well, more on the traditional side of business where you trade time for money or you're committed to a particular location, having to run a business or go to work. And I was just looking for a little bit more in my life. I wanted to create the income, lifestyle, and freedom I wanted, and recognizing that, being an employee, I've created a job, a job, and they refer to a job as just over broke. And I just thought, things, if I wanted to have something I've never had, I needed to do something I've never done, and I needed to become someone I've never been. So I started exploring and looking into new opportunities, new ways of entrepreneurship, and ways that would give me the freedom and flexibility to live anywhere, to travel anywhere, and to continue to run my businesses as long as I had a laptop and an internet connection, that I could run that type of a new type of business. So this was really exciting to me, and so I'm in the transition away from my job into a complete lifestyle of entrepreneurship, but living a freedom lifestyle, a freedom entrepreneur, if you will. And SFM and the community and the tools and the training have really brought that to light, the possibility to achieve that, and the kind of skills that you need to develop to make that goal happen as well. So it's been a great experience.
Awesome.
Great.
So would you say? Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, I just want to point out one thing that you and I share a similar history, Doug, in that we both went through the pain of the real estate crash, and I just wanted to bring that point out because I know there are a lot of other people out there that can relate to that experience, having gotten into real estate investing. And I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, but for me, I had built my entire life around it, and that all imploded. And that was a significant event in my life and part of what drove me to look for something different.
Absolutely. I mean, there are so many different business opportunities out there, and nothing is ever guaranteed. Whether you're a traditional entrepreneur, you're selling your services and consulting, or you're wanting to invest in real estate, or you're investing in stocks and bonds, or whatever it is. I mean, you're still vulnerable to a lot of global factors, external factors, things that are beyond your beyond your control. And so those, I have been involved in projects that created some substantial failures. But I also knew that I wanted to continue to invest in myself. And I knew that I could control things more when it's up to me, and there's none of these other external factors that come into play. And, for myself and being involved in real estate, it was something that was exciting. It was more for investing, but it wasn't my passion. So I really became more passion focused. What is it that drives me? What kind of services, what kind of knowledge, what things will I do when I wake up in the morning? And I wake up with excitement and I go to bed with enthusiasm. And so I started having to do some really amazing self-reflection on what is it that I wanted to achieve. And I really recognized that I just wanted to be able to travel the world. I didn't want to be a landlord, or I didn't want to be committed to developing real estate in a location. I really wanted to travel the world, and I wanted to sell or to help people, provide services, information, or be a leader, and things that I really wanted to get into the personal development game, and I needed to get into the digital world, a little bit more, and having freedom. So I started to recognize that, yes, I wanted to have opportunities that created leveraged residual passive income. And so my whole life then and quest for new entrepreneur opportunities was all about passive income and leveraged income, and recognizing the world is so global that I needed to gain some digital skills. In my middle-aged man, I didn't really grow up in the techno world as we have a lot of our young millennials growing up, and I didn't have a Facebook account even until I was 2 years ago, and I really downplayed the importance of technology, and it's because I was an employee. I mean, I just needed to learn technology for whatever I was doing for the job that I had to do. But to be an entrepreneur in a global economy, and to let my passion out and to become the person I really wanted to be, I quickly recognized I needed to gain some of the digital skills, and I was a laggard. I was behind, and digital skills, even whether you're an employee or you're an entrepreneur, you need to get training to learn how to connect, to learn how to market, to learn how to communicate, and to learn how to build relationships with people around the world. So anyhow, I really excited about some of the new directions, the new projects, the new entrepreneurial opportunities that I'm pursuing. And I call it the new entrepreneur. I left the old world of traditional entrepreneurship and of trading time for money, and more into the digital world, the new entrepreneurship, I like to call it, or people are referring to it as the new rich as well, because of it creates in a digital world, you create a great lifestyle for yourself as well. Anyhow, I just really excited about what the world has to offer, and the opportunities there, living in this digital economy. And but again, it's been a big learning curve, because I came from no digital skills to quickly having to learn a lot of new skills, and what would be applicable to running a business on a global scale as well.
For sure. So let's talk about the digital side for a minute, because I think a lot of people in the wider world, for example, would maybe feel that they're not, really technically or technologically advanced in their own skill set, and so on and so forth. You mentioned a couple of crucial points there. So leverage, automation, these are the things that new entrepreneurs in this day and age are using to obviously move forwards. Yeah. So would you say, Doug, was there a defining moment that you can remember where you decided, you know what, need to learn these skills, I need to step out of what I'm doing now, do something different so I can become someone I've never been? Was there a defining point that made you want to go down that new path?
Absolutely. And for most people, they may not recognize it yet, but it's you'll hear about it through many gurus in personal development that speak about it. When you hit that intersection of pain and urgency, where you've experienced so much pain of not having the lifestyle you want, not being able to provide certain things for your family, not having to help other people the way you'd like to help them. And then the urgency of knowing, hey, time's slipping by. I need to take action now. Something must change. I must change it, and it's going to happen today. You really have to go through that and feel that. And then all of a sudden, when you make a decision and you're deciding to change, change is going to happen. Then it all becomes just mindset, conditioning yourself to continue to be patient, persistent, and positive, day in and day out. But once you make a decision to change, and that hit me a few years ago, and I said, enough is enough. I've been sort of, looking around and dabbling, and I just said, I am not going to live like this anymore. I need to take a chance to find my passion, to do some things a little bit different, to provide things, that I've never been able to experience, the world. And then that was really driving motivational, factors for myself. So it became a little bit selfish. It was all about me, but in the end, it's all about how do I help other people, now get what they want. There's a famous quote by Zig Ziglar: if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get exactly what you want, right? So, but anyhow, that was a real defining moment. And then I just realized, that I started looking around, looking for, well, what kind of programs, what kind of training, what group, what communities are out there that are going to help me gain the skills, the knowledge, the masterminding ability, and SFM. And I, as I was looking around doing some research, found this as an opportunity and started delving into it, and started to get an insatiable appetite for learning digital skills, to continue on with personal development, setting goals, and then running a business, right? Launching a business, and they say, entrepreneurship or business development is really personal development with an income stream attached. And I don't think anybody really grows as much until they actually start developing a business. I mean, when you start developing a business and trying to make a business profitable and adding value to people, you grow immensely along with that. There's challenges, but wow, just the skill sets, the knowledge, the personal development. So anyhow, so there has been a lot of things that have come into play, but it's really been the last couple of years where that was the defined turning point. And you're starting to see trends, I mean, in the economy as well too. Some things started to really freak me out and scare me. And some of the, Thomas Frey futurists, they're predicting, with the change in technology, that 2 billion jobs will be displaced due to artificial intelligence and technology. And not only is that scary for a lot of people, but that presents new opportunities if people want to seize the digital world as well. There's really great ways. So if you're stagnant, you're standing still, you're not going to be employable, and you're definitely not going to be a very successful entrepreneur. So you need digital skills, and these are some of the things that I started to delve in. The reasons why that I said I need to figure out how to make my life different, because you're going to be, if you don't choose to change, you're going to be forced to change, right?
Yeah, and I think probably more accurately is, if you're not growing, you're actually going to be going backwards.
Absolutely.
At the rate things are changing. You've talked a lot about mindset, and it's so true as far as people needing to have the right mindset and personal growth. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on sort of timeline, if you will. In our society, there's so much of this kind of microwave expectancy. People want stuff right now. They, kind of conditioned to instant gratification. And how do you see that connected to entrepreneurship and connected, more importantly, to your journey? How long have you been with the community, and how do you see your journey progressing over time?
Yeah. Timeline. That's really, and that's why I often speak about, success. I don't really ever give ultimate success a timeline. To me, the three core success is all built around patience, persistence, and being positive. And so I've often run into people and trying a new business or trying to get involved in something. They say, well, if I don't see something within a year, I'm going to quit, right? Oh, geez, that's not even part of my mindset. As long as I'm growing each and every day, my success isn't all about financial success. It's all about personal growth. Like every time that I grow or I learn or I add value to somebody, to me, it's like I won the lottery. The feeling that growth gives, right? Personal growth is unbelievable. And, they say your ultimate financial wealth is commensurate with your mindset, right? So your ultimate business success will only grow to the level of your mindset, right? So I kind of keep looking at it. Well, geez, if I haven't hit the financial mark that I've been pushing for, it's because, I got to continue to build my mindset. I got to continue to become a better entrepreneur. I got to continue to add more value to people. Wealth just doesn't come because you put in time. Wealth comes, because you're actually adding a huge amount of value to people around the world. And if I'm not doing that, if I'm not getting the wealth that I want, I'm not adding enough value, and I'm not adding enough value because I haven't become the leader that I need to be yet. So there are things that you need to be able to do each and every day. And so as long as the only thing that I do, I don't give it a timeline. If I'm growing today, and I was more than what I was today than I was yesterday, to me, that's my measure of success. I have goals. You want to be able to set goals. You want to make them smart goals. And so you want to put some timelines on them, and they got to be definable and everything like that. But really it is today. I just look at it. What did I achieve? And there's things that I really learned through the SFM community that I make sure that I do each and every day, right? There's 5 things, right, that you must do as a leader. If you don't do these 5 things, your financial success, your personal development success just is not going to be there. And the problem is these 5 things are so simple to do, but the opposite end, they're so simple not to do because people by human nature are lazy, right? I mean, statistics show that people don't even, when they buy a book, they don't read past the first 10 pages of a book. So a lot of the time, so just knowing that when people join a business or set up a business, you've got to be pretty persistent, positive, and patient, but continue to do these 5 things every day. So the 5 things that you must do every day, relate to personal development. It relates to, working on your mindset. It relates to income generating activities. It relates to, masterminding with people. It relates to, adding value, to people on a massive scale, giving back to the world. And so within those kinds of contexts, if you don't do those things on a day-to-day basis, you won't grow, your mindset won't grow, your business skills won't grow, and your wealth won't grow. So as long as I do these 5 things each and every day, I know I'm on the path to success. And that's all that I measure. And I'll let my wealth and my personal freedom, all follow from there.
Brilliant. Like you say, it's that getting to that point of whatever it takes, isn't it? Because exactly. I mean, so many people, you hear it as well, Doug, and you've mentioned this already. People come in and they put a timeline on success, and it's like, well, if you're looking to change your life in every way, if you're doing this because you want to create a new version of yourself that's going to live a more fulfilling and happier life, well, how can you put a timeline on that? At what point does that become not viable anymore? It's like, well, it doesn't. It's if you want that, you go for it no matter what and whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you a question about, you touched then on habits, right? The 5 things that leaders do is the consistent actions every day that ultimately help you grow and achieve a result.
Yeah.
So what would you say for the habits of Doug over the last 12 months, for argument's sake? What have been maybe the top 1 or 2 habits that you feel have given you the biggest drive forwards towards your version of success?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a great question. For me, it definitely, success is 80% psychology, 20%, opportunity or strategy, right? In anything, right? People will be given the same opportunities, the same challenges, and it's those with mindset that will be the ones that the cream rises, to the top, right? So it's the mindset. And so it's really, to me, it's personal development. I make sure that I spend, at least an hour a day on mindset, on health as well. I find health and physical health and mental health they just really work in parallel. And when you start off your day with abandoning the fear of failure, conditioning your brain, developing positive beliefs, making decisions, goal setting, focusing, you're visualizing, and you're sort of seeing yourself, you're understanding your reasons why. When you set off your day and you constantly do that, day in and day out, and you mastermind with other people, and you have a business. I mean, that's the other thing. I think the only way you really grow, because you don't want to just read, and you don't want to study. And I think having a business, being an entrepreneur, running a business also helps you develop a mindset of success, right? So to me, it's doing income generating activities, and it's working on your mindset, right? Those three things, it pushes you outside of your comfort zone, because the business side of things, the income generating, is what you use your mindset to push you out of your comfort zone. I got to go talk to somebody. I got to go make that call. I got to go write a blog. I've got to go do something to build a business. It's the business that pushes you outside of the actions that you got to take, pushes you outside of your comfort zone. But working on your mindset helps you get out of your comfort zone. So it's those two things. Having a business to build is such an exciting thing. It gives you such hope and optimism. And then working on your mindset. Those two things, to me, are so important to your growth and determining your destiny, and having such you just feel so great about yourself, right? And when you feel good, the sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm just so impressed with your attitude, your mindset. It's I'd like to say textbook perfect, but I don't think there is such a thing.
Right.
Yeah. You're so positive. It's great to talk with you. So we all have preconceived notions of what things should be, how things should go, what our life should be like, what our business should be like. Is there something that a preconceived notion that you had prior to becoming part of the community that has completely changed, or that has had a significant change in it? And what was it and why?
I think if anything, and probably for most people, and I think we sort of, think about this, if success was so easy, right, everybody would be super uber successful, right? And it's not, right? It's you have to, the opportunities are there. The opportunity with SFM, there's people really successful that have created the income, the lifestyle, the freedom they wanted, right? They've designed the life and business they love. It is there. It just takes time. It takes commitment. It takes discipline. It takes patience. So I think in most people, when they decide, today, okay, I'm going to become an entrepreneur, I'm going to try this, and it doesn't work, and they say, oh, that opportunity doesn't work, or that's a scam, or but they don't recognize it's not the opportunity, it's themselves, and it's their mindset. And so I've become more and more aware of that, and just what it does take, but a lot of people, if they don't continue to study personal development or mastermind with others in a community, they'll start to blame a business, or they'll blame the opportunity, or it's always someone else's fault why something isn't successful. They forget to look at it. Well, it's me, it's my mindset. Am I doing the 5 things leaders do? And if you're not, then you have to look back. Well, that's why my success. So, I think that's been the biggest change for me. And it's because you can mastermind with other people, learning what other people are doing, what struggles they've had. And if you're not doing and learning and taking the actions of other successful people are, you don't deserve success. You're not going to get success. So that's been the biggest eye opener to me. And it's all been through the masterminding, with other people and knowing what they did. And you're able to role model, learn from the success of others. And if you don't do it, like I said, the 5 things leaders do every day are easy to do, but they're easy not to do, right, as well. It's too easy to fall into the trap of being lazy and, I'll do it tomorrow. And it's only those with discipline and commitment and understanding the reason why, will do the 5 things leaders do every day.
For sure. And final question from me, Doug. It's one that Steve normally asks, but I want to ask it this week. If you had to give some one bit of advice to Doug from 3 years ago, knowing what you know now, what would you tell Doug from 3 years ago?
Well, I think it's just, it's motivation, right? I think everybody don't settle for a life of mediocrity, right? And people will often say, well, just be satisfied, right, with what you have, or you have a good job, and let the emotions of your reason why. What is it that drives you? Go down the path of exploration. What is it? What is the life you want to live? It is possible to design a life of freedom, design a life of growth, living a life of passion. It is possible. Don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle, say, oh, that will never happen for me. I just think, that's one of the legacies I want to be able to leave my children is take a chance, jump. I don't know if you ever, I want to give a special kudos to Steve Harvey. If you've ever seen one of his videos that he's done, he talks about jumping, right? Everybody has this opportunity to become something more, but you got to jump, right? You gotta be prepared to take some chances. You got to be prepared to take some scrapes, on your knees. You got to take a chance. And but if you continue, to develop that mindset, continue to take actions, your life will go into, a different direction. And just don't judge yourself compared to other people. Just judge yourself by what you've done today and what value you're adding to the world. And don't compare yourself, but just let personal growth, the excitement that personal growth can give you, let that just be your fuel and your marker of success. And everything else will grow. When you grow personally, your wealth and your freedom will grow commensurately with that as well too. So that's about it.
Great. That's great. So we went backwards. Now let's go forwards. Doug 3 years ago saw his future as X. Doug today sees his future as what? How is the future Doug look different now, given your current mindset and knowledge, compared to how you saw your future 3 years ago? And I'm not going to ask you to put a timeline on it because of our earlier conversation. There isn't a timeline there. But what's the difference in how you see your future?
Yeah, where I was, probably 3 years ago, I saw myself as stubborn, sleepy, stuck, right? Where you're mucking around, you're spinning your wheels, you're living a life of mediocrity, you're not pushing the limits. And until you start doing some of that self-reflection and understanding, and then start masterminding with others and joining a community, I like to call myself now living a life of wise, being wise, wild, and free. So, and it all becomes about developing a wise mindset. Wild is all about taking action, and free is all about the goal to have the financial abundance, the lifestyle to live anywhere around the world. So that's the ultimate vision of myself now: wise, wild, and free, being a freedom entrepreneur. And I have actually adopted that same identity as our one of our key leaders, Stuart Ross, who calls himself the freedom entrepreneur. I also call myself a freedom entrepreneur, and I'm not completely living free. I still have a job. I'm working one leg out, building a financial income and base, and all the skills that are going to allow me to be a full-time freedom entrepreneur. But that is the identity. That's the excitement. That's the vision that I have of myself, and the lifestyle, but also of adding value, right? So it's not just about me, but how I become more me is by one thing I've learned is adding value to others, right? Give first and you'll receive second, right? So the more you give, the more you add value to others. So it's a change of focus as saying, oh, you must buy from me. Oh, you must have something. It's no, how do I give? So I become much more of a giver, somebody that adds value, someone that looks to solve people's problems. And that's been a real big mental shift, as opposed to, hey, I have something, how much are you going to give me, for my product? So I've really just shifted in my mindset about who I am as a person. I'm a person just to make a change in the world and to make a difference in people's lives first and foremost.
Well, I think that's a great place to wrap it up, Dan, unless you've got something different. Making a difference in people's lives. And I've written down two things that, sorry, I'm going to steal. Growth gives and wise, wild, and free. I love both.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, those are
great.
some of the where I was before to where I am now, right? And it's a constant. I become more wise, become more wild, become more free as you do the 5 things leaders do every day, right?
Yeah, that's terrific.
Awesome, that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And
it's a pleasure.
Good. No, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And Steve, as always, thank you very much for your support as well. Guys, appreciate you watching, and enjoy the rest of your week. We'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.
See you next time.